Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Habiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez from Radio Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. The number of jobless Filipinos drops to 3.2%, while employment rate rises to 96.8% in November 2024. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directs concerned government agencies to monitor strict compliance and help improve mariners' lives following the signing of the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers, implementing rules and regulations. Thousands of devotees joined the long queue for the pahalik of the image of Jesus Nazareno at the Carino Grandstand on the eve of Traslacion. The Marcos administration is set to rehabilitate one of the country's major and busiest thoroughfares, EDSA, this year to improve riding quality. The Bureau of Immigration will penalize firms and individuals who are harboring illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGO workers in the country. The country records lower influenza-like illness in 2024. The state of a nation's economy is often measured through its capacity to generate jobs and the quality of such means of living it is able to create. Thus, if the recent figures that indicate a decrease in both the unemployment and underemployment rates are to be used as basis, then the country under the Marcos administration is indeed on the right track. PTV's Noel Dalacay has this report.
The Philippine Statistical Authority or PSA logged over 1 million of Filipinos who are now unemployed. This is more than 170,000 decrease compared to November 2023 unemployment rate, which at 1.83 million. This is according to the agency's November 2024 labor force survey.
Mataas dito yung transportation and storage. May pagbawas tayo sa number of underemployed na mga 144,000. At ang malaki nag-contribute ay yung passenger land transport. So isa rin yun sa contributor kanina dun sa increase sa employed persons. So of course this is related to activities during the holidays.
Apart from unemployment rate of the country, the survey also recorded of more than 5 million Filipinos who belong to underemployed status. This is over 430,000 decrease compared to the underemployment rate of November 2023, which has 5.79 million. With this new survey, it has a huge impact to the employment rate of the country. In fact, on the month-on-month data of employment rate in November last year, the number of the country's employed stood at 49.54 million. This is an increase of 1.38 million compared to the previous month of October, indicating the country's strong employment performance. The National Economic Development Authority or NEDA says that the improvement of the employment numbers of the country is attributed to the multifaceted approach of the Marcos Jr. administration to strengthen the country's labor market. In a statement of NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, he says the country's labor market is robust with employment figures climbing and underemployment sliding. The next goal is to create more business and job opportunities so that more Filipinos can contribute to the economy the way they can. Moreover, Finance Secretary Ralph Fracto says this is a statement to the government efforts not just to bring additional jobs but also higher quality and better paying jobs for Filipinos. NEDA and Finance
The National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA says the government was successful in keeping the nation's inflation rate within the target range for 2024. NEDA explains the inflation rate last year is much lower than the 6% recorded in 2023. Secretary Arsenio Balisacan disclosed despite the challenges in 2024, government's effort to tame inflation were largely successful and that government eyes to continue such momentum this year. Also, the Marcos administration
For 15 years. He shares that life at sea is no easy task, facing tough work conditions while being away from family and his home country.
Mga trabahante kami sa barko na pag may mga problema sa makina, kailangan po talaga naming tutukan hanggang maayos. Na minsan po lumalagpas po talaga dahil po sa operation, pag Pasko, Bagong Taon na masaya sa Pilipinas, dun mo maalala na napakahirap palang wala ka sa mga ganong panahon.
Arvin is just one of the estimated 600,000 Filipinos relying on the maritime industry for their livelihood. To ensure the rights and welfare of Filipino seafarers, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. witnessed the signing of the implementing rules and regulations of the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers. The measure aims to secure seafarers' rights to act.
Nasa likod ninyo, naglilingkod upang higit na maitaguyod ang inyong seguridad, dignidad at karapatan.
The law also ensures the repatriation of seafarers in case of illness, accident, or contract completion. Seafarers must be members of the SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig to receive insurance, housing, and retirement benefits. Families of seafarers will be granted counseling, financial support, legal assistance, and other forms of aid. The Magna Carta also promotes quality of training to enhance the career growth of seafarers, including women in the industry.
Ang hakbang na ito ay hindi lamang nagbubukas ng pagkakataon sa industriya. Ito rin ay sumasalamin sa ating dedikasyon sa mas progresibo at mas pantay na patakaran sa industriya ng maritime.
To address their needs, the government will establish a one-stop shop for seafarers. President Marcos Jr. also directed government agencies to ensure full implementation of the law.
Ito po ay simula lamang ng mas matatag at maliwanag na kinabukasan para sa ating mga marinong Pilipino at sa kanilang mga pamilya. Sama-sama nating itaguyod ang bagong Pilipinas kung saan ang bawat manggagawa kasama ng ating mga marino ay may seguridad at matiwasay na kinabukasan.
From PTV Manila, Calezal Pardilla, Balitang Pambansa.
The last day of the Pahalik drew a long line that wound its way up to the Dewey Boulevard and yet faced none of the devotees who fell in line and shrugged off hours of waiting and discomfort. And if the lines of the Pahaliks were any preview for tomorrow's main event, police officials are now discounting a 6.5 million turnout, eclipsing last year's mammoth crowds, as we hear more from PTV's Rod Lagusad Live. Rod, good evening.
Joe, just hours before the start of the annual Traslacion, devotees are still waiting in line to participate in the traditional pahalik here in Quirino Grandstand, while other devotees opted to stay here in Quirino Grandstand on the eve of the Feast of Jesus Nazareno and wait for the start of Traslacion tomorrow morning. Compared to yesterday, the line of devotees participating in the traditional pahalik has grown even longer on the eve of the Feast of Jesus Nazareno. Just this afternoon, the line stretched all the way to Rojas Boulevard. Despite the long line and high heat, devotees remained eager to participate. Throughout the day, the line has kept growing as more devotees arrive. Just like tonight, the line is consistently long, hours before the start of the Traslacion. One of those who fell in line is Elizabeth, a senior citizen who came from Malabon and a devotee for over 2 decades now.
Good health lang po sa akin, tapos yung mga anak ko, medyo nakatapos po naman ng pag-aaral kahit na po ako single nanay po ako. Single nanay po ako. Yun ang po pasalamat ko, tapos good health lang po, tapos hindi na ako binigyan niyang karamdaman.
Just like Elizabeth, other devotees have their own reasons, but all of them are undeterred on the challenge posed by the long lines. When asked, devotees stress this is but a small sacrifice and nothing compares to the blessings they have received. Likewise, other devotees opted to stay through the night in the area. Some of them brought tents for tonight's rest, others also brought
naawa sa akin, yan, binigyan ako ng hanap buhay, binigyan ako sa sakyan, kaya ako nandito lagi.
Before the Misa Mayor, a program is being held in Quirino Grandstand. This includes song and dance performances, particularly to honor and praise God. Joe, regardless of the time, devotees are still or patiently waiting for their turn here in Pahalik in Quirino Grandstand, and over 2 hours from now, a mass will be held to celebrate the feast of Jesus Nazareno. Joe?
Rod, do we have details on the estimated number of devotees who went to Quiapo and Quirino Grandstand?
In 12 midnight, that will be led by Manila Archbishop Jose Advincula Jr. People are still flocking here, and we will wait for the start of the Traslacion tomorrow morning. Joe?
Yes, Rod, just an idea, how many hours do the devotees have to wait before they can reach the image of Jesus Nazareno?
Joe, the Quiapo Church expected a large number or a big number of devotees tonight, and we spoke to a devotee earlier today, and she said that they fell in line around 7 a.m. in the morning, and they finish around 3 p.m. because even if there's a special lane for senior citizens, persons with disabilities, to pregnant women and other who are sick, they have to wait because the lines, the whole long lines is all the way from Roas Boulevard, and they will still have to wait for here and until their turn here in Palik in Quirino Grandstand. Joe?
All right, once again, thank you, Rod. Lagusad from PTV. Security and safety are high on tomorrow's main event, even when the annual Traslacion makes its pilgrimage from the Quirino Grandstand to Ground Zero in Quiapo Church. Thus, law enforcement care of the PNP has beefed up its deployment with 12,000 more cops to keep peace and order during the entire procession and beyond. PTV's Ryan Sigues reports.
Strict security measures will be implemented by the Philippine National Police to ensure the safety of millions of devotees participating in the Traslacion 2025 tomorrow. According to the DILG, more than 12,000 police officers will be deployed to secure the Feast of the Black Nazarene. Out of this number, over 2,000 will be deployed by the Manila Police District. Police contingents of 1,500 each will also be deployed by the Northern Police District, Southern Police District, Quezon City Police District, PRO 3, and PRO 4A. Additionally, personnel from the Regional Mobile Force Battalion, NCRPO, and Eastern Police District will be deployed.
Sa ngayon po ay wala po tayong namomonitor na anumang seryosong banta, at syempre yung ating mga intelligence operatives ay mga nakasibilyan po yan at halo po doon po sa ating mga participants po ng Traslacion, at magmamasid po sila doon para kung may mga namomonitor po sila ay mabilis na i-report po doon sa mga unipormadong police po natin na nakadeploy po.
The PNP had earlier stated that they will coordinate with the security plan of the City of Manila, various government agencies, and stakeholders, while the PNP Highway Patrol Group will manage traffic flow. The PNP Intelligence Group and Anti-Cybercrime Group will also focus on potential physical and digital threats.
Yung estimate po last year nasa around 6.5 million po. So the same din po, mga around that numbers din po yung inaasahan, if not mas marami po. At yan po ang isa sa mga reason kung bakit yung ating pong 12,168 ay fluid po yan. Pwede po yan madagdagan, depende po sa makikita po natin doon po sa magpa-participate po dito po sa Traslacion. Maliban po dito sa mga projected deployment, meron din po tayong mga reserve force na po readily deployable if there is a need to increase yung ating pong deployment.
More than 100 firefighters and anti-chemical, biological, radiological, and Picasal, and Quinta Market. The DOH will also deploy over 200 personnel from the Health Emergency Response Team of 20 hospitals in Metro Manila, including Jose Reyes Memorial Medical Center, Tondo Medical Center, Dr. Jose Fabello Memorial Hospital, and East Avenue Medical Center. The Philippine Red Cross is also positioned along the procession route in preparation for this year's Traslacion. In an interview with Mike Avi Live, PRC Chairperson Richard Gordon stated that around 1,000 volunteers will be deployed along the procession route. Ambulances will be on standby, and the Red Cross Field Hospital and first aid stations equipped with necessary supplies are already in place. Red Cross personnel will not leave until the Black Nazarene's image reaches Quiapo Church.
Ang payo ko ay kung kayo may sakit, nagmari, huwag na kayo pumunta dyan. Pero kung
Jesus Nazareno. Key roads to be closed include Bonifacio Drive, Rojas Boulevard, P. Burgos Avenue, TAP.
Kasi alam naman natin na engineering solution is just one of the components to address ngayon itong flood mitigation problems because of the climate change phenomenon.
The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, reported China's monster ship has departed the coastline of Zambales. According to PCG,
The Department of Budget and Management forged a partnership with the Presidential Communications Office and media organizations to strengthen Open Government Partnership, or OGP. The OGP is a step taken by government to improve transparency and encourage the public to participate in the Marcos administration's program and policies in line with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s aim of improving public service. DBM says one of the surefire ways to achieve this is to ensure that government is transparent to earn the trust of Filipinos. Aside from PCO, DBM also forged a partnership with several print and radio entities. The agency is well aware of the huge help that media can provide to let the people know more about government's programs.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po ay si Mr. Nelson Uloy ng Barangay Luer Magulan, Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. Ako po ay 26 na taon na nagsasaka sa 3 hektaryang lupang ipinagkaloob sa akin ng DARA. Noon ako isang tinanti lamang sa lupang aking sinasakahan. Nang dahil sa programa ng ating gobyerno, ako po ay isa sa pinakamasayang benepisaryo ng Voluntary Offer to Sale or BOS na nakatanggap ng collective title noong 1998 bilang katibayan na akin ang lupang aking sinasakahan. Dati pangarap ko lamang na magkaroon ng sariling titulong na matatawag na akin. Ngayon abot kamay ko na ito. Isa ito sa mga pangarap ko sa buhay na magkaroon ng sariling sakahan. Salamat sa Split Project. Ngayon hawak ko na ang aking titulong minimiti na ako lamang ang mag-isang nakasulat dito. Mabuhay, mabuhay ang programang agraryo dahil may titulo na ako at wala na itong utang sa bangko. Taos puso kong binapasalamatan ang ating mahal na Presidente Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos at sa ahensya ng DAR na pinangunahan ni Secretary Conrado M. Estrella III. Mangako po ako na pangalagaan at pagyamanin ang lupang nakaloob sa akin ng ating gobyerno. Sa muli, maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat and God bless us all.
The Bureau of Immigration, or BI, warned companies or individuals hiding illegal workers from Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs will face legal action. BI Commissioner Joel Anthony Viado stated harboring illegal aliens is a serious crime and violators will be charged. This follows the BI's plan to deport over 11,000 former POGO workers
debt to the Land Bank of the Philippines, calling the government's intervention a life-changing blessing.
Maraming salamat po kay Secretary Conrado Estrella III, ng DAR Secretary, at kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Dahil pinagkaloob niya po itong titulo na to. Sa wakas po ay wala na po kaming babayarang ganito kalaking halaga. 111,844. Maraming salamat po.
The loan condonation is part of Republic Act 11953. Farmers burdened by debt have abandoned, leased, or sold their lands but are now returning after learning about the loan condonation. Meanwhile, 669 electronically generated certificates of land ownership award were distributed to 502 agrarian reform beneficiaries covering 758 hectares. This milestone offers farmers a fresh start and a renewed sense of hope, symbolizing a new life for the new year as they take full ownership of the land they cultivate. From the Philippine Information Agency, Eastern Visayas, Ulat Bayan, Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Health advises the public to practice good hygiene like covering coughs, staying home when sick, and washing hands often as the cooler amihan season continues. This season can increase respiratory problems like allergies and infections. The DOH reports lower influenza-like illness or ILI as of December 31, 2024, a 17% decrease from the previous year. Common viruses causing ILI include rhinovirus, enterovirus, and influenza A. The DOH also notes an increase in human metapneumovirus or HMPV cases worldwide, but HMPV symptoms are usually mild. Severe cases are rare but may affect infants, the elderlies, and people with weak immune systems or lung conditions. The DOH encourages people, especially those at high risk, to wash hands frequently, avoid crowded places, and seek medical care for severe symptoms. Secretary Teodoro Herboso emphasized the importance of boosting immunity through proper food, exercise, and discipline. Meanwhile, face masks remain optional. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and First Lady Luis Liza Araneta Marcos welcomed the grand winner of The Voice USA Season 26, Sofronio Vasquez III, during a courtesy call at Malacanang. Vasquez made history as the first Filipino and Asian to win the prestigious title. During the courtesy call, Vasquez had the opportunity to speak with the first couple, sharing updates about his career, including plans to record songs. The Filipino champion also sang a song for the first couple and other attendees.
Si Papa po kasi alam naman sa atin, always kong sinasabi na yung karaoke talaga part ng ating kultura, sir. So, I am just so blessed.
Ang biro nga niya sa America is that how do you know you're in a Filipino house? May karaoke.
Yeah.
For sure. Galing.
Is he coming here? Michael.
Gusto niya po. Sabi niya,
imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country.
I wish I could sing that way, partner. And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
You can still do that. You just have to practice. This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Abiba Saripaudak, and this is
Balitang Pambansa.